Hello, everyone. You are watching WOLFpak Live. I'm your host, Wendy Fortino, and I am so stoked for today's episode. I have two incredible fitness phenoms. I'm going to introduce them first, and then we're going to get right into it. First, we have the amazing and talented professional dancer turned fitness icon, Jaclyn Baker, who is your current Miss Fitness International. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Wendy.
Yeah. And we have our social media phenom superstar who proved herself in live form and is now one of the top fitness athletes in the world. We have Taylor Learmont. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I am particularly excited to have both of you ladies on because not only are you both the top two fitness athletes in the world, but you also have great voices. You're great ambassadors for the sport and the industry. We have a lot to talk about, but before we get started, I have a little intro that I want to play, and we'll watch that, get warmed up, and then we'll go for it.
Well, there's a lot of emotions. Excitement, nerves, proud, honored to be on a stage of such prestige. I feel there's like a sense of accomplishment by stepping on stage, presenting my package. Being a professional dancer and a competitive dancer my whole life, when I step on stage, there's a moment of calmness, and I feel like I'm at home. I feel like it's where I'm supposed to be. And then I feel proud to show off what I've been working on. So whether it's my fitness routine or my posing, whatever it is, my presentation of any sort, I feel like it's an opportunity for me to say, this is what I've worked on, here you go, and I'm proud of it.
Be the best version of yourself, stand tall, let go, break out of that shell. The world's just waiting for you to shine, release the strength you hold inside. Every scar tells a story of strength. Every stumble brings you closer to length. The road may twist, but you're on your way. Feel the fire that lights your day. Be the best version of yourself. Stand tall, let go, break out of that shell. The world's just waiting for you to shine. Release the strength you hold inside. Defines who you be, your path, your dreams, your destiny.
They know, made you think about doing that. Does that bring like the fire under you guys by watching that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of emotions.
I got emotional watching that. But I want to start off just right out of the gate. I want to ask you both, and Jaclyn, we'll start with you. But where do you feel like the fitness division is at right now in relation to the rest of the industry? Because you've been around for a long time now.
Oh, that's a hard question. I would say it's on its way back up.
Yeah.
I feel like for a lot of years, it was kind of in this transition period where a lot of the vets were either towards the end of their careers and kind of stepping out of the game. And a lot of younger athletes like Taylor are coming up and super talented and driven and has a little bit of a different dynamic to the division than it used to. I think there's just so much talent in, I'm a little bit older. I don't want to say I'm old by any means, but in the younger generation, like kids in their 20s, any athlete, any sport right now, it's just like crazy what people can do. So I think we're seeing that step into bodybuilding a little bit. I also think the physique is becoming a little bit more streamlined as to what we're seeing on stage, what's being rewarded. For a while, I think we had a lot of very different physiques. And most of the times in the other divisions, you have those top 10 where it's like, oh, well, this right rear delt is better than their left, or like it's so minute. Whereas the fitness division, our physiques for lack of a better were all over the place. You know, you had tall, you had short, you had teeny waist, you had wider waist, you had short torso, long torso. So I think right now it's kind of in this like transition where everyone's getting to like the same playing field, so to speak, if I'm wording that properly.
Yeah, no, I have some thoughts too that I want to add in, but I want to ask. So Taylor, you are obviously fairly new to the fitness world, but you are somebody that I would imagine probably does your homework. You have probably looked back in time to see where the division has started. I see you as somebody that really dives into the history of what you're doing. So tell me about your impression coming into the sport when you did, looking back, where do you feel like it is right now?
I think where it is right now is definitely in a position where people who are kind of like in that athletic era of like the dancers, the gymnasts, the cheerleaders, I think if they look at fitness where it currently is now, seeing a body type like mine, seeing other body types that aren't as built, as big and conditioned and stuff like that, it might be a little bit more appealing to them. So I do think we're getting into a place where like those like talent pools are starting to look into it and get really invested, because when I first started back in 2019, I looked at who was competing and I just knew like I will never look like that. I just don't have that in me. And not to say that I just don't want to like ever get there. It's just at the time I was like, where I am in my life and where I'm coming out of sport, it was just too much of a drastic change. Versus now, if you see body types, like for instance, like Allison, she's got a body type that even as like a gymnast or a dancer, they're like, oh, great shape, great conditioning. I would love to look like that. And so I think like that's something that's been really great about like where I started in 2019 versus where I am now. Body types like Jaclyn, like you mention it all the time on Instagram. If you pose, you look bigger than you are. But in real life, like Jaclyn and I, we're not the same size, obviously. But like she looks like a regular person. Like it's not intimidating to look at. And so I think that's a really great direction that the fitness division is going in, because if you look back years and years ago, the fitness division was more of an athletic build. Of course, we still were conditioned and looked great, but it was more appealing to an athletic audience than it was the bodybuilding audience. And so for a lot of people who are athletes, like an athletic build over the more emphasized physiques.
Yeah. I agree with everything that you're saying. So here's what I want to like dive into also. Okay. So like back when fitness was first introduced to the sport, you know, it was like just fitness, it was fitness and bodybuilding, and that was it. Right. So women basically had to have a gymnastics background to just enter the sport, or they would do bodybuilding. And it's just been so interesting for me. I mean, I've been around since before the bikini division was added. So it was just figure and fitness and bodybuilding when I first started, you know? I'm sorry, can you hear that in the background? Can we close the door? I'm sorry. So, and then as we continued, I feel like, and this is where I feel like it looks like fitness is like maybe on the decline, but I actually think it's not. Okay. I think the perception of it, as the divisions have been added, we just have a dispersion of people competing all the different divisions, right? Because in my opinion, the fitness division is like just as incredible and amazing as ever. And I feel like it's the division that everybody looks forward to watching at the Olympia, at the Arnold, any of the big shows. It's like everybody's always looking forward to seeing the fitness division. It is hard to get people in the division because there are so many other options now, right? So before, you had to have a gymnastics background if you didn't want to do bodybuilding. And then when they added figure, that kind of pulled people out of the fitness. Even people who had a gymnastics background were like, I don't want to do the routine, you know? So I guess that's the thing. And then I have a question I want to tack onto that, what I just said, which is, you guys talk about recruiting people into the fitness division, both of you. I hear you guys talking about that a lot, right? And I was thinking about this, Jaclyn, after we had our interview on FemFlex Friday, but I was thinking, you know, I don't necessarily know if it makes sense to just have people with no background in gymnastics and dance. I mean, that's great because it happens. And I know that we have athletes that come into the division and they do great. But I'm thinking like, you two are just so impressive. I mean, incredible. You're like the Cirque du Soleil athletes of this division. This is what the fans want to see. So how do we get people from dance clubs and college gymnasts and things like that to enter the division? Because I feel like are the ones that should be flooding in, right? Okay. Jaclyn, you first.
Yeah, so I think we talk about that a lot as, some of we have a kind of a group going on, and how can we promote and support and get more athletes in the fitness division. And we always talk about, going to, whether it's gymnastics or what do you call them? Gyms, dance studios, cheerleading competitions, things like that. I personally, coming from a competitive dance background, going into college for dance, dancing in New York City, there's this like ending to dance for a lot of people, right? There's not like a straight trajectory. Once you finish college, you're kind of like, okay, do you do Broadway? Do you do commercial art? Do you move to LA and do videos? And so I'm always trying to get dancers to see what we do on stage and realize that they can do that also. To Taylor's point, I think the physique portion now is going to draw them in more than maybe it was like maybe 5 years ago, or I don't know, 5 years ago. So I think we do try to, reach out to dance studios. I go to dance studios and speak to dancers and younger women, girls, try to show them what bodybuilding is, because most of them have no idea, or they think that it's just like the women's bodybuilders, and they're like, what do you mean you're a bodybuilder? So I think, we do try to do outreach and talk about doing outreach to different sports and just variety, instead of just trying to pull. We really don't talk about trying to pull other bodybuilders into our division, because most of them know about our division.
Yeah.
There are plenty of figure and bikini athletes that are ex-dancers, gymnasts, cheerleaders. I mean, if we did a poll, I would say people would be surprised at how many are in those divisions that aren't doing fitness.
Yeah.
But like you said, they don't want to do exactly. I keep trying to get you over. But they don't want to do it, which is fine. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do talk about going to like other outlets.
Yeah. I mean, Taylor, what exactly is your background? Because I don't know what you are. Are you a gymnast? Are you a dancer? Are you an acrobat?
I'm like a mutt of all three, to be honest.
What are you? Like, what are you?
Everything. So I got my start. So I have a gymnastics background, cheerleading background, and a dancer background.
Yeah.
So I have that, but then I got into calisthenics. So it's basically a whole like mesh of that stuff is how I create my routines and pull things from there. But then also as an adult, I do things like animal flow and Pilates, and I do just like different types of classes. So again, my movement's still expanding and growing. And I think that's one thing that's really great is like when I'm in those environments and people see me doing what I'm doing, they're like, oh, like, how do you do like animal flow into a handstand? I'm like, oh, like I can put it in my fitness routine. And it's an easy way for me to be able to open up that door and tell more people, because the average population has no idea of our division. Like if you go in, like if I walk into a place and I'm like, I'm a bodybuilder, people are like, no, you're not. You know what I mean? So to educate people and to show like there is bodybuilding where there's functionality to it as well, in addition to the physique, is really important. I like on my Instagram, like I post challenges all the time. And whenever I see someone like, I don't know, within the ages like 20 to like 40 doing the push-ups and the sequences that I do, I always message them and I'm like, would you ever consider bodybuilding? Because like, if you can do my challenge, like more likely you're going to do great on stage. So I think it's kind of like doing those. And like, I know some of the fitness girls do it too, where we post challenges and we tag like hashtag IFB fitness and stuff like that, just to see like the interest and everything. So social media is a great tool to kind of help build our position, our division, but also just word of mouth is the best way too. Like if you're just talking about it in conversation, a lot of people are like, wow, like I'm going to look into that, because it just seems like something they could do. And I think a lot of people do think our division is hard, but then there's the random people who also think it's like really easy, and they get humbled when they come to our division and they're like, never mind, this is hard, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. Like they think it's too hard, and they're like, it's easy, it's hard.
Well, you just kind of came out of nowhere when I first saw you. How in the heck did you find out about it? Like were you watching Jaclyn going, that's what I want to do?
No, like I was just posting on my Instagram in 2017. My account wasn't even big. I had less than 10K. And one of the fitness girls, I guess, was following me, and she had tagged me in Whitney's giveaway at the time in 2019. I entered it being like, I don't win anything, but I'm just going to do it just because. And I won her full like prep, routine choreography. And she took me through my regional show, my national show. And that's when I got my pro card. So that's how I got introduced to it, was through Instagram, which is why I like to I do like a bunch of YouTube stuff on it, my Instagram posts and stuff, because that's how I got pulled in, was through social media.
So we hunt them down on social media.
Honestly, you know how many people do those crazy push-up challenges? It's like, if you can do those push-ups, more likely you can probably do a fitness routine.
Hang on, I gotta see these push-up challenges. You have one recently that you posted?
Yeah, I had a fun one recently.
Okay.
It wasn't even like a push-up one, it was more of like a coordination plank one. It's that one right there. This one really was hard for me to do just based off the coordination. Jaclyn would have been amazing at this one. She's got coordination like crazy because she's a dancer. But this took me so many tries.
Yeah, that would take me a while.
Yeah.
My brain would.
So the coordination, so the choreography is what you said you had the most challenge with?
Yeah, it was like learning to like hit the beat with my arm, but still have my feet pop out. I don't know.
And then feet are going opposite of the hands. That's tough.
It's like trying to like tap your head and rub your belly at the same time.
Yeah, literally. But
that's funny.
Like this, I always keep an eye out on my tags and stuff, because if someone can do a handstand kip up, I'm like, are you flexible? Are you strong? Like, you should try fitness.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do see you do a lot of challenges. You keep it really fun, and I see I don't know what the heck you're doing here. We have to see this from the beginning, because this one was nuts.
It's so fun. I filmed this one so long ago. This one was like a throwback, because I posted this one recently, but I'm not that lean right now. But this was shortly after the Olympia.
Oh my goodness. Do you guys inspire each other to do these different tricks? Like do Taylor's tricks inspire you, Jaclyn? I'll ask you first, and then same question to Taylor.
Yes, definitely. Taylor's tricks definitely inspire me. I also personally know my strengths. and I had never held a handstand in my life until on stage at the Olympia in 2019. So I was not a gymnast. I was what I call a dancer acrobatics skill. Oh, that's what I had, dancer acrobatic skills. I could walk on my hands. I could do back handsprings, back tucks, aerials, but I was not, so I'm not proficient in handstands. I worked my butt off to get that one. So I see Taylor doing some stuff that I'm like, man, let me try that. And then I go to try that and I'm like, nope, we're not going to do that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Your handstands are amazing.
Inspired by her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I always joke with her and say, I wish I enjoyed practicing handstands as much as she does, because I could probably get more than what I do now, but.
Wow. I tell you this all the time, but I'm going to tell you again. Okay. You know exactly what I'm going to say. One thing that I always like stands out to me about you is just your perfection. The way that you finish every move and you point your toes. I'm such a stickler for finishing moves and seeing pointed toes, and it's just like it's like a refreshing sip of like seltzer water, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot. That's a lot of years of training and that being instilled in my brain and my body. I don't think that's the other funny thing. I see people do handstands without pointed feet. I cannot. I cannot hold it. I fall down.
Yeah, I know.
That's just years of ballet, and
I have seen people do that when they need to have like a flex foot to go into another move, and I'm like, okay, I'll give you a pass. Okay, I'll give you a pass.
I was just working with a fitness competitor yesterday. I was like, you have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
You have to stop.
Well, it looks like a looser movement. Like when the toes are pointed, everything's tight. And when they're just like flopping around, everything's kind of flopping around.
Yeah, I just come from dance land where lines matter.
Yeah.
And I think that, to your point, that is, I believe, why some of my routines look different than a lot of the other women. And I'm not sure that everyone can always pinpoint it, but to me, lines matter. And it's more dynamic that way. It just makes the whole routine cohesive.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. What about you, Taylor? Does Jaclyn inspire any of your moves?
Oh, absolutely. I love Jaclyn's routines in terms of the artistry of it. Like I get comments on this on my routines for the last 2 years where like people are like, oh my gosh, like you just smile and you like look happy through the entire routine. Whereas Jaclyn, like you can like really feel all her emotions. Like she's got great facial expression. She's got great fluidity in her movement. and like her transitions are always like spectacular. So just learning that aspect, because on my side, like I'm strong in the skill realm, but being able to like, again, create that line, that flow is something that Jaclyn does so great. And so for me, when I work on my routines, I'm like keeping in mind, like skills are important, but I need to focus on the fillers, the part that like brings it all together as a big picture. And even like, as far as costumes go, like your costumes are like always crazy, magnificent costume changes, colors, designs, everything.
Thank you.
It's just great because mine are relatively simple. It's a sports bra and like little tiny shorts. So, that's because I'm used to never performing with like more stuff on me. So I'm always like, I'd rather keep it simple in case I get distracted. But like as a true performer, you have to get better at like, you know, making yourself bigger, more like fancy and stuff like that. So definitely always inspired and always motivated. And I think like that's what's great about the fitness division is when people come to me and they say, oh, like I don't have your skills. And I'm like, that's okay, because you have someone who is like Jaclyn, who doesn't have all my skills either, but she has amazing routines. Yeah. It's not always about skills. It's about what you put on the stage and how well you execute it. And like you said, like Jaclyn's execution is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, it's always 100%. Like, you know, when she goes on stage, it's going to be an amazing routine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. I could not agree more. I think with all of what we're talking about, I feel like there's a lot of talk about like getting more people in the fitness division, getting more people. But okay, I have like a little bit of I kind of brought this up a little bit, but I'm going to kind of dig in this a little bit more. I feel like the women that we have in the fitness division, like when you go to the big shows, like the Arnold and the Olympia, it is a smaller group of women, but you ladies are so phenomenal that it's like, it is like this part of the show that you know that you're going to get entertained. I mean, there may be, you know, at the Olympia, maybe like 15 women, but they're all incredible. Like they're all amazing. And it's like, it doesn't necessarily need to be more people in the division, right? I mean, we want to get an inflow of people and try to scout out talent the way that Taylor was scouted out and stuff like that. But I really like the exclusivity of how incredible and amazing the level that you guys take it to is. And that as a outside, as a fan, as someone on the inside, that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the issue is, in my opinion, our shows that we're offered aren't the most ideal. Like we have the past couple of years, there are 2 weekends that there are 2 shows. So I'm not sure that many people know, but the fitness division, correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor, maybe we have like 10 shows besides the Arnold and Olympia. Maybe I'd have to like really calculate them. And if 2 of them are on 2 different weekends, our division, if we only have 20 competing this year, are split. Yeah. So I totally agree with you, Wendy. I think everyone that's, you know, presented at the Olympia and the Arnold, they're all fantastic. But it leaves the shows that we do have available. There's maybe like 3-5 competitors. And then it looks like our division is a little bit small.
I get that.
Yeah. But I agree with you. The talent pool is there. And I think there's a lot of, like I said before, younger athletes that are coming up that are super talented.
I can see that. That. I want to show this clip from FemFlix Friday, and then I want to get Taylor's take on this.
And what can we do as promoters, Jaclyn, to be better?
Well, you know what I noticed a lot of times, and it's better now, but there'll be flyers with like the divisions, and fitness is left out always. It's gotten better. I could be wrong and not recognizing it now, but it'll be like men's open, bikini, men's physique, all the other categories, and fitness is nowhere to be found. So even like promoting maybe like the more well-known fitness people to get more fitness people to see fitness. Like I think fitness just needs to be seen more.
Yeah. I didn't even know that. I mean, what do you think? Actually, Jaclyn, respond to that. Like you first, go ahead and just respond to what you said.
I mean, I think I stand by my statement. I just don't think fitness gets the love that the other divisions get.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to watch that and then be told that we need to promote ourselves,
Yeah.
which we do. We do our best, but I think coming from the promoters and the league needs to also include fitness.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times like there'll be things that come out on recaps of shows and things, and fitness isn't included in it, and it's just kind of a bummer for us because we want to be included. We want to hear what the judges and the promoters have to say about our division so we can be better. I mean, we're competitive. I know bodybuilders and figure are competitive, but we are competitive athletes. We, Taylor I agree. I know she'll agree with me. We want to beat ourselves every time. Like, if anything, I know Taylor and I have talked about this backstage, is we're hard on ourselves, and we'll come off stage and know, like, subjectively what we did.
Oh, I know.
We did wrong. We know we did great. We know we're up there with talent, but we're always trying to be better. So if we can get more feedback with recaps and fitness divisions, more information out there for athletes, just being seen more would be really helpful. And to your point, Wendy, I know there's a lot of divisions. Like, I get that. But if fitness can be included in some of this, I think it would be really helpful for us.
Yeah. What about you, Taylor? Have you noticed any of this, and what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think in general, I think like what Jaclyn's saying is like fitness just isn't as seen as much or as heard about or as talked about. And, like fit model is a brand new division. And I feel like even people I know in the gym who had no idea what bodybuilding was, they're like talking about fit model. So I feel like the more it's talked about, the more that it's brought up in conversation, the more people will know and the more interest is built. And not only interest in maybe like competing, because obviously fitness is pretty niche. You have to be someone who loves the gym, but also loves to flip upside down and be flexible and stuff like that. It's niche. But if we could even just bring in an audience who is like really excited to watch our division, I know myself, like if I know fitness is going on, I'm going to want to go and see that show. If I can't compete it, I'm going to want to go watch it. And I know a lot of people always come up to me in the audience and they're like, oh my gosh, like the fitness division is my favorite to watch. So like, even if like we had guest performers like from the big shows like New York Pro and like stuff like that, maybe we're not there to compete because maybe we don't have the competitors or they just don't have the room for us. But to have a couple of us come on stage and showcase fitness and just give us a little bit of like time to educate, to show what we're all about would like go really far, I think. But yeah, I think we're just not seeing, like, I know Anaheim, when Titans put fitness in, they had used pictures of like Oksana, me, I think Ariel was on it too, and like had used those pictures to draw people into the show because fitness hadn't been there before. But again, even if fitness is brand new to a show, just using faces people are going to see. Doesn't have to be current competitors. It could be Missy, who's now in figure, but just to let people know, like, oh, fitness is here, just to draw attention.
Well, you know what? I think that we just solved this entire issue. I'm serious.
Me and Jaclyn,
we did. You know why? Because what is the number one thing that makes people want to do anything? FOMO. Think about it.
You're missing out. Yeah.
If we were to like, rather than focus on like, how can we get more people to participate, really highlight and like create the celebrity status for, I mean, you guys deserve it. I mean, you're so incredible. I don't even think people can appreciate some of the skills that you guys are doing. I certainly can. But if we see them more and they're featured more and you guys are more out there, what happens is FOMO. People are like, I want to be featured like that. And then it's what motivates people to want to do something. It's like as a little kid, you look up to your favorite like sports celebrity, and that's what makes you want to do what they're doing. And it's like by featuring the top ladies, I think that will just organically drive more traffic, more people coming in. So I think that's the solution personally.
Yeah. I think like FOMO is one thing too, but I think also the idea, and this is like kind of like silly, but a lot of people, if they see just me doing a handstand or like a straddles at hold, they'll be like, oh, if that's fitness, like I can do fitness. Yeah. That also automatically draw people into our division, because if there's like a lot of people love just to see if they can do it. Like we did the showcase in Pittsburgh, and a bunch of little kids saw a bunch of other little kids doing stuff, and they're like, I bet you I can do that too. That same principle still works as adults, because I'll see someone doing something cool and I'm like, let me try. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it is. So we just gotta get out there and be seen.
It's like
Yes.
me when I see Taylor's handstands and then I try.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Totally do it.
oh my gosh, I see Taylor's handstands and I'm like, nah.
In my head, I can see myself doing it,
Right.
and it's all mind over matter.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
know the mechanics.
No, it's not.
It's working right here.
I'm telling it to do it.
Oh my gosh, I know. I used to like just on a whim just do a backflip without even thinking twice about it. But as I've gotten a little bit older, like all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, flipping backward kind of like freaks me out a little bit. But I'm sure I could probably still do it.
I feel that.
You know? Okay, well that's not good for you. You got an Olympia to do. You better get over that one.
I gotta stop the clock and then keep going.
Right. Okay, we're gonna make sure that we get over that one before the Olympia. Okay. Another thing I think is like Taylor, I mean, it goes without saying, you coming into this division has absolutely had a huge impact on the division. I think Jaclyn would agree. I think everyone would agree because you were like a super social media star before you even did your first show. I found this clip of you talking a little bit about this, and then I want to kind of chat
to do
about
with social media and the people around me too, because when I started my account I had so many friends being like, oh my gosh, like you're gonna blow up, you're gonna do so big, and I was like, no guys, like I'm just me. And the fact that I had people believing in me before I'd even had all this stuff, and then when people were so positive online as well, just seeing that kind of thing, I was like, okay, like maybe I am like a little bit better than the average person at certain things, and that started to build my confidence a little bit more. And it's helped across like all aspects of my life. Like when I enter into a room, I'm more confident. When I'm about to try something that's scary, I'm like, no, like I can do XYZ, like this is gonna be fine. So I think it is like, I would say at least 50% social media has really helped me learn that like I'm capable of so much more than I ever thought.
I love that. Yeah, so I guess what I want to ask is, after watching that, and the reason I brought that up is because I feel like, the way that you do your social media, it's not to put so much pressure on your shoulder or anything, not to say, Taylor, it's all to you. It's all on you, to bring but I do think that you are aware of the weight and also the significance of your social media presence. I mean, I think you're at like 2.5 million followers or something like that. And they're like actively following you. And so the way that you share your information, the way that you put yourself out there is definitely in the way you do your challenges. So speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, like I feel like even from the short period of time from 2023 till now, the amount of my audience who is invested in what I'm doing and competing is like crazy. Like when I first in 2023, people didn't even know I was competing. Well, when I had announced, when I done my post about Olympia, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like you competed in bodybuilding." Whereas now in 2025, people are like, "We're so excited for this season. We're watching along. Like we can't wait for the content to come out, like the workouts, everything like that." And so I think my audience really is invested in this current like bodybuilding era that I'm in. And like I've had like a lot of other athletes come who are like, they're like, oh, I was starting in bikini, but then I saw you competing in fitness and I want to get into fitness. Like, I do think there is such a good, like, presence on social media. And I think, like, not only me, there's a bunch of other fitness girls who also have relatively good followings as well. And as, like, social media knows, like, you can go viral like that. So if all the fitness girls just continue to post and, like, we all do really cool stuff, we can slowly grow the division just all organically. I myself, I try the best I can to grow it as well. But I do think like we all have the potential to like educate. Like I know Jaclyn has such great videos on terms of just like overall education on fitness because there's so much junk out there. And like this is coming from someone who actually has like built their body, and there's so much value in that. And in terms of like where I see my social media going is like I definitely do love having this pillar now that I have of bodybuilding where I get to share my nutrition, my what I eat in a day, my workouts, because people just are nosy. They want to know. And then as soon as they know more, that can kind of spark the conversation of like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it type vibe. So
no, that's good. Yeah, you answered all the questions I would have asked, which is like what your strategy is for social media and what you would recommend for incoming women or women who are currently doing the division, like how to use your social media to really highlight this division.
Even the transformations, like I think for me, a lot of people like seeing my Instagram and showing the fails. Like I think I get more views on fail stories than I do sometimes on actual posts, because people just like the relatability of like, oh, we think she's amazing, but like, look, she messes up just like everybody else.
Yeah.
It brings like a whole like relatability to it. I think too, in terms of posting, like everyone loves that motivational stuff, that stuff that like makes you feel like, ooh, like I feel, I don't know, that tingly feeling inside. So having moments like Jaclyn's video that you showed at the very beginning for her intro, like I love that video. Any of the ones that she had leading up to Olympia, it just brings the audience in and connects to you as a person. And if they're connected to you, they're connected to the division because they want to see how you perform, who you're against, and people just get invested.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think you ladies both do incredible with your social medias. I mean, if I was, divvying out followers, I would say that you both should be in the millions. I mean, millions and millions. I mean, the only reason why you wouldn't be is because people just haven't even found you yet. The only reason anybody wouldn't follow you is because they don't know that you exist. Because I mean, I think the things that both of you ladies share is incredible. The inspiration. Let's move on to something that is a little bit, I wouldn't say controversial or whatever, but this is something that impacts both of you. And I want to know what your thoughts are. We obviously there's a lot brewing in the bodybuilding world about the recent prize and money increase at the Arnold. And Linda had made a video saying that there's like $100,000 distributed to get amongst all the women. And then, the third place open bodybuilder won that much. So it's just like this crazy thing in the bodybuilding world. And you ladies are in the fitness division. Jaclyn, you just competed. You just won. Go for it. Like, tell me your thoughts. What is your feeling about the Arnold, about this situation?
I try to look at it at the big picture, right? The Arnold, the IFBB, the Olympia, they're all a business. So when it comes down to it, you have to look at it like that, and you can't look at it emotionally. So you have to understand how businesses work, I think, to start. Then you have to look at the differential between female and male sports as a whole, and that is large. I think if you take any sports like soccer, basketball, any of these sports, the differential in prize money or ticket sales and all this stuff is pretty different. That being said, I think that our sport, the differential is like astronomical.
Yeah.
So I personally understand it's a business. I understand maybe the open bodybuilders bring in more of an audience because people like that freaky look. I think you can tell when you're in an audience, a little bit of who's there for what division because of the way the crowds are.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really say, because you're not taking a poll like, okay, Jaclyn walked in and she's only here to see bikini and wellness and then she's going to leave. So it's hard to say. Whereas like if you went to a sporting event, you usually stay to watch the whole game and see who wins. You're there for two teams. But so I guess back to your point, I wish that there was a closer variance in men to women. I think it's tough to place first at a show and have the men who placed first. I don't even know what the numbers are. They're like,
it's crazy.
It's like 8 times or something.
Yeah.
It's like, so do I think and or believe there's a way for it to be even? No, I just don't think that's the reality of our world right now. I really don't. And that's not me being pessimistic or not a feminist or anything. It's just business and reality. I do, however, wish that as they increase certain divisions, they would also increase others. So right now they keep increasing some divisions and leave everyone else. So whether it's they increase $100,000 and 1,000 here, I just think they can increase us a little bit to either keep the differential the same and not keep setting us like this, or make it a little bit closer. It would be my wish for the bodybuilding world.
Yeah, that's totally fair. What do you think, Taylor?
No, I think that's an excellent point. I do think like it is unrealistic to assume that like the fitness division top winner will win the exact same as the open winner. Like it's just unrealistic and won't happen. But I do think that like as bad as it feels for us too, like I'm sure the other men's divisions as well also feel that same pain, because a lot of the time, again, like their divisions aren't necessarily increased either. So I think it's probably like an overall feeling that we all have, where we just feel the difference was more matched. And again, like Jaclyn's saying, it's not going like this. It's like we're building together. Because I'm sure we can all support that open bodybuilding is one of the biggest categories, one of the big, like I even watch open bodybuilding, and I'm nowhere close to ever being an open bodybuilder in my entire life, but I still watch it because it's entertaining. I totally get that. And you know, like the big names are there. Like I feel like all the big guys have these crazy followers, maybe not necessarily online, but like also just in person. Like their following is freaky crazy, you know? So I get it, but I do wish that, like, especially just as the sport continues to grow, as more women are getting brought into the sport, and like just women in fitness in general, as that starts to grow, it'd be really great to see that supported financially. But hopefully just like, you know, goes like this a little bit more.
Yeah. I just want to say that it's crazy that I don't know if we would have felt so much of a ripple effect like 10 years ago. And that's what stands out to me. I feel like as soon as Arnold made that announcement, okay, the whole internet went crazy. And, you know, Linda made her post and she stands by that. And she is so brave and she's so strong. And then, of course, you have people reacting to that. And then, but what happened was it really opened up a can of worms, and it got everyone talking more about, wow, maybe there is a big discrepancy. I think a lot of people's initial response was, well, I mean, obviously the men are going to make more because, you know, it's the premier division. We would all agree on that. But then the more people started making their points, and some of the fitness women, I mean, made some great arguments on social media too. But as people were kind of talking a little bit more about, well, hang on, you guys, like this is a really big discrepancy. I feel like it has really got a lot of people talking, you know, and that's always good. I think that this is how change is made, right? Someone speaks up, everyone's initial response is one way, and then as people start making their points, eventually people start kind of finding some common ground and going, you know what, maybe there's some truth to both sides. Maybe we should try to think about this a little bit more. So I guess I was just really impressed with how the entire bodybuilding world as a whole seems to really see this as something that we need to be paying attention to, you know? As far as my opinion, I really agree with Jaclyn. I think that it's a business, you know? And I mean, shoot, the figure division was taken out of the Arnold, you know, like, and I should have been really upset about that because it was my division, but it was weird. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't upset about it being removed, only because I felt like, okay, like I kind of get it, you know, Arnold shouldn't be, you know, everyone's not entitled to be at every single pro show, and you have to kind of figure out what divisions you want to have at your show and how you want to run your business and stuff like that. And I guess there are a lot of divisions now, and to be responsible for hosting every single division, that's a lot, you know? So I don't know. What are your thoughts on the divisions being cut out? Because we have the 212 cut out, we have figure cut out, we have what else is physique, women's bodybuilding.
I think for me as a fitness competitor, like I was talking about before, we only have 10 shows plus the Arnold and Olympia. So it's hard for me to watch these divisions being cut out because I feel for them. But I also think coming from our side, it's like, well, we're not in any shows. So I don't really know how to feel. Like I feel bad because I think it sucks. And Arnold is like, what, the second tier competition. So I get it. But like there are, I don't know, Wendy, how many figure shows are there? 30 plus a year?
Too many.
And I mean, I'm going to count just so I know for the year, but we maybe have 10.
Yeah.
And so,
that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, so yes, I think it sucks for those divisions.
Yeah.
Also, to your point about speaking up, I know in past years, there's been a couple of divisions, don't quote me, but I believe there were men's that spoke up about prize money and said they weren't coming back to compete unless they raised the prize money. I've never seen a women's division do that. I think that women would be more hesitant to do that. So I love that Linda spoke up on our behalf. I don't think that many women would do that. And I don't think that many women that are competing currently would do that.
Yeah.
But I know that men have. I
Yeah.
don't know if women have. So again, don't quote me on these things. But
Yeah.
I do know for sure that there were men competitors that said they wouldn't go back to Arnold unless the prize money was more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think
kind of just backtracking a little bit.
no, we're always so afraid to speak up as women. And I don't think that that's necessarily because anyone puts that on us. I do think that men and women have different energies. And, you know, as women, we have a certain vibe and a certain energy, and we're not as well received when we are outspoken and we have, you know, super strong voices. And it's really interesting. It's fascinating for me because I do interview a lot of men and women, and they have, there's just like, I don't want to generalize people, but there is definitely, you know, more like bold, like strong personality types on the male side. And then like women hold back a little bit more. And that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So it's hard to imagine like women banding together to really tackle something like this. You know what I mean? Because yeah, not many women would be like, oh, I'm not going to compete. But besides you two, I mean, it's difficult to think. I mean, the reality is most people who say, I'm just not going to compete anymore, probably, I mean, nobody's going to go chase you down. You know what I mean? That's, Lee Priest said something along those lines, like, oh, why doesn't everybody just say that they're not going to compete until they fix it? It's like, because when you walk away and say you're not going to compete, no one's going to chase you down. No one's going to come, you know? Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a hard one. There was something else that I wanted to, Jaclyn,
Yeah.
you have had a lot of stamina in this division. Where are you at right now in your journey? Where are you at with your stamina in your journey?
You know, it's funny. I would say if you asked me that in end of 2024 season, I had just turned 40. I had been doing this for 10 years. I danced 10 years prior. I was kind of like, okay, I did this for 10 years. I'm going to do this for 10 years. I did really well. I kind of was like, have I hit my end? I knew in my gut the next day when I woke up that I hadn't. I feel like I don't have any like 5-year plan, or I've never given myself like at 40, you're going to stop doing this. You're going to retire. Same with dance. I was never like, okay, this is when you're going to be done. I've just never been one of those people. So I have done every Arnold and Olympia since I turned pro, except for 2020 Arnold. So I have been going nonstop. So I think that it's been a lot, but I also think that I've gotten into a great routine where I keep my body, you know, somewhere in that like close range so that I don't have to go to like crazy extreme dieting. I don't wear down my skills and my physique with that. I am 41. Not saying that people my age can't do it, but for me, it doesn't work. Yeah. So I think that's where I gain my stamina. Just being smart about my training. I do see myself, you know, going through this year. I don't see myself ending any time soon.
Yes.
I know. When I told you I was done in 2024, you were so sad.
I was.
I don't know. I know in my gut I'm not done. I know I have more in me, and I don't feel like I've completed this chapter of my life yet. Mm-hmm. Will I compete till I'm 50? Absolutely not. But
no, never say never.
I don't know. I don't have a timeline. Well, I know I'm doing Olympia, and that's as far as I've gotten in my competition life.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that. See, that's the thing about you two are in different kind of stages of your journeys. I mean, Jaclyn, you've been to the Arnold and the Olympia. Oh my God, did you say 7 years in a row?
Yeah, I think this is my 8th Olympia, and I think Arnold was just my 7th Arnold. I think that's correct.
Yeah. And then Taylor, you are entering into your number 3 Olympia.
Mhm.
And what about you? Where are you at with your stamina?
Stamina's not something I even consider really worry about in this, because even before bodybuilding, I was still doing all the tricks and stuff. All that's changed is now I can't eat food whenever I want. So if anything, it's more my mental than it is my stamina. But
Yeah.
honestly, like I've really enjoyed bodybuilding and the routine that it's given me and the discipline that it's taught me. And I
Yeah.
think every season is personal growth, each one. So I do think, like, in terms of seeing an end to it, like, obviously there will be a time where I walk away from it and pursue other fitness things, because I'm someone where I'm like, I want to be like Thanos. I want to like collect them all. I want to compete in bodybuilding. I want to do high rocks. I want to do calisthenics, and I want to do powerlifting. But a lot of those sports can be done like way, way later. And right now, like bodybuilding, with the amount of time it takes, the amount of commitment it takes, this is kind of like my prime years to capitalize on that and be in this thing. So yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm really enjoying the ride so far. I've only done the Olympias. I'm in my plan with Jody. We are gonna do the Arnold in 2026. Just because I know, like, I've always wanted to do it, but it's just like we've always needed those rebuilding seasons and stuff. But hopefully this year, like with the way like this competition, like this prep season goes, and like I'm able to maintain a good amount of muscle mass still and still make a good push for Arnold, as long as I don't mentally fatigue, because I do get a little tired after Olympia. But yeah, I think it's just like a learning curve for me. Like I'm still a very much of a baby in it. So again, learning how to like structure my life, like what Jaclyn was saying, she's managed to build a life that's very balanced, where she doesn't have to be like, wow, I got to 124 last year and I thought I was so heavy during my off season. We didn't do that this year, but it's like learning about your body and where you can take it and balancing out in a way that it can be long term without it being feeling strenuous and like complicated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you never know, that 124 might be a solid 124 in a couple years.
Oh yeah, in a couple, but last year was not solid. Last year it was a little chunky. Last year, I was doing backflips and I was like,
so light.
Heavy.
It's hard.
Yeah. So definitely stayed lighter this off season, which was nicer for me. But yeah, it's a great sport. I think it's taught me how to like love and appreciate my body, not only when I'm at like the leanest, but also through the growing phase. And at that same point, it's also allowed me to see what my body's fully capable of, which I wasn't aware of before.
Yeah. I guess you just brought up another good point that I was thinking about, which is, you know, in terms of the body type for the fitness division, I do think that the smaller frames are, obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, this is common sense. You're going to be able to do a lot more tricks, a lot more skills, get a lot higher. And the extra muscle really does weigh you down, you know. It also hurts flexibility. I can speak from experience. You know, when I gained more muscle, I was less flexible. I mean, your muscles are naturally going to be tighter, harder to stretch out. So when you see the skills and you see the pliability, the kind of like the leaner, smaller physiques, I love that you two ladies are getting rewarded, because you know, Jaclyn, you have more density and you have more tenure, but you're still like so tiny, you know, like this tiny little rock hard gymnast. And you could tell, you know, you don't get overly, you know, muscular. You keep it really tight and tiny. That I do think that body type is conducive to having the best routines. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that, like, I think a lot of people see me on social media or on stage at Olympia or Arnold, and they think I'm huge. And then, like, I'll post, like, my height and my weight, and they're like, so confused. But I'm only 5'1.5".
Yeah.
I have a lot of muscle on my frame, but like you said, I'm small framed, and it's more dense muscle tissue than it is super big and bulky. And yeah, what like Taylor said, when you're heavier, it's hard to do skills. I mean, it's hard to get your butt up in a handstand if your butt weighs a lot. It hurts your wrist, it hurts your brain, it hurts it all. So yeah, I think, you know, as far as skill level, I think there's women all over the board, physique wise, that are, you know, super talented in skills. You get used to, you know, your body and how it moves. But I feel better when I keep myself a little bit leaner year round and on stage for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think Taylor, I was really impressed with you at the Titans. That was the first time I saw. I mean, you came out and you could really tell that you put in the work in your physique, and I really like that physique. You know, I like that level of muscularity. I love the way that your physique looks when it's moving, and that's huge too. I mean, this is a huge part of things looking beautiful. You know, even in gymnastics and in dance, you know, the body in motion is really, you know, really emphasizes the skills and the beauty in the lines. And so that lean physique, I think, really helps the skills just look that much better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, ladies, you guys are just so freaking awesome. I swear, I could talk to you forever. And
Likewise.
and I probably will, because I just love having you both on, and I feel like we hashed out some things today, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
How about I want you both to have the final word here. And don't go anywhere after we say goodbye, okay? But I want you both to have the final word. So Taylor, you first. Like, what would you like to say to your fans and your followers and everybody who loves you so much?
Oh, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who supports me and, is invested in everything that I do, and especially invested in the bodybuilding world right now. I think everyone's super excited for this season. And without my following, for sure, for me at least, like, I have a little small group that I have on my Instagram where I basically go on and like talk a little video every day. And like, to have that outlet for me is super helpful. So the fact that people are just openly willing to like listen to me yap about, prep and the struggles and the wins and stuff like that just means so much. And I know a lot of people believe in me more than I believe myself. So I feel like that's such a big carry through for this season as well. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody. And I appreciate everyone's support.
Aw, you're so genuine. I love it. Jaclyn, what about you?
To piggyback off of that, yeah, I think it's, a solo sport, so to speak, but I have a huge army of people that are, I call my support system. I am so thankful for my family, my sisters, my parents. My parents have been to every single show in the 10 years I've been competing, multiple countries, multiple cities. So I am very thankful for that. I'm thankful for everyone that follows me on Instagram. For the most part, not for the most part, but that's the only place I really post. I just, the love and support, the messages that I get, the comments, all of that is just, it lights my fire. I mean, I don't really need, motivation or anything. I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do, but hearing that I inspire other people, just like, it really makes me happy. It's very surreal to feel, to be able to inspire others by just being me. I think I sometimes have to remind myself that, I am inspiring people, and it just, the messages, the support, and the, fans that come up to me at shows, all of that just is really amazing.
I love you, ladies. You're just like such rays of light in this industry and just in the fitness division. So thank you both so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you both, and so does the fitness world. And to everyone who's watching, thank you for joining us. And until next time, I will see you later.